Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Our Joy of Gaming. Today is our first ever game grab bag episode where I've got a bunch of things that I want to talk about, a lot of game pickups that I've been acquiring over the past few months, game related, actual games, and things related to games that I wanted to show off on the show. So my office was getting chock full of things. I said, I've got to do this episode. And really this was inspired by one of my favorite YouTubers, Johnny over at the Happy Console Gamer. Hats off to Johnny, really brings a lot of joy to my life. And so I thought there's a lot of things that I've been acquiring and I'd love to share them. And maybe you guys would find some enjoyment out of these things that maybe you want to pick up as well. But let me know in the comments, what are some of the things that you've bought lately? Some of the things that have been exciting in the gaming world for you. Maybe you've gone to the store, you found a different figurine or a different game, a classic game, a retro game, or even an old strategy guide or something like that you want to share. Please put it in the comments below. So I've got a lot of things right here in front of me. Holy smokes, if you could see this pile. So I want to get through a lot of these things to start. So let's start with the game. I picked up Souldiers. Have you guys been playing Souldiers? Souldiers. And this looked absolutely up my alley. Beautiful, really Metroidvania style, 16-bit hand-drawn artwork is absolutely gorgeous. The music is fantastic. I'm just starting playing it right now, but I can't wait to do like a full deep dive review on this where you're really kind of going through solving puzzles, upgrading your character, exploring, but all the animations are just gorgeous. There's a lot of love. You can tell like a lot of love put into this game. This really intricate 16-bit handcrafted retro epic, as they say. I'm really, really excited. This is the type of game that brings me right back to my 8-bit and 16-bit childhood. Absolutely excited to play this. So super excited. I've got a couple of games that I'm wrapping up right now. So once I finish up Metroid Prime Remastered, I'm almost done with that. Then I'm going to be able to dive into some of these smaller, shorter games before I dive into Tears of the Kingdom, of course, in the next few weeks. So really excited. Souldiers there. Pick that up on the Switch. Okay, let's do... I picked this up. This is a black box here. What is this? What is this? Now this... Look, I'm all about being able, like lowering the friction to be able to go and play games, right? Like, if you've got to switch out HDMI cords, you've got to set up an old CRT television, you've got all of those crazy things, you're increasing your barrier to playing games, right? It's just like what James Clear writes about in his great book called Atomic Habits. Like, if you want to build a habit in your life, lower the friction. So if you want to play guitar more, then put the guitar near where you sit regularly, out of a box, out of its case, on a stand, right? With some sheet music or tablature sitting right there in front of you. So you'll pick it up and play it, not away in a corner or in an attic somewhere. And that's the way that I feel about gaming as well. How can I just sit down, flip on the TV and play a game? Play it on a console, okay? And that's where the Analogue Mega SG comes in. So this is their version of an FPGA for the Mega Drive and the Sega Genesis. And so it even comes with the Mega Drive insert. You can pop it in the top if you got any Mega Drive games, but oh my gosh, this thing is small and it is gorgeous. So I fired it up. I just got it the other day. I fired it up. It's really compact and I just can't believe how amazing this thing is. Look at the size of this thing here. Really, really small. And so takes your cartridges, right? So I've got my here's my Sega Genesis of War Song. So I was playing some War Song, pop that in there. Boom. And I was off to the races. And look, I grew up playing on a CRT television like most of you, right? So I had a little den, a little gaming room that my parents set up for us, where we had our Tandy computer, and then we had our games, we had our NES, and we had our Sega Genesis. And boy, I would sit there for hours and play my Sega Genesis. And to see this for the first time, so the first game I actually played on the Sega MG, the Mega SG, was Quackshot. I loved this game, Disney's Quackshot, and starring Donald Duck. I absolutely love this game, the sort of Indiana Jones style adventure, and I was blown away by how good the graphics look. It was like seeing the game for the first time, because I'd played it on a crappy CRT television my whole life, and so I haven't played this game in years. dusted it off, put it in the new Analogue Mega SG, and I was blown away by it. And there's so many menu options, of course, you can tweak, you can add all sorts of different things to it to add more. If you want to add, you want to add lines to it, I'm sure, go over to GameSack, much deeper dive over there with those guys. I also picked up the 8-bit Do controller as well. So it's wireless. And you just plug in the little dongle here. You just plug in the little dongle right to the front of the Sega. I keep calling it the Sega. It's the MG, the Analogue Mega SG. Just plug this in. And by the way, this works on your normal Sega Genesis. So you could plug this right into your Mega Drive or your Sega Genesis. Boom, you're good to go. And then you can play it with the 8-bit Do controller. And it fired right up, and I couldn't believe it. I was playing Quackshot again, like I was a kid again. It was unbelievable, beautiful graphics. I can't get over how amazing this device is. Super excited. I have one complaint, and I don't know what it is with these mini systems. Can we please move to USB-C? Okay, USB-C is super easy, right? Here's a USB-C cable, right? Just let's all move to USB-C from now on, please. These use those micro USB, like what old Android phones used to use, right? Where one side is slanted down and you got to try to fit it in. You're not sure if you're jamming it in there. I don't want that. So here's the input. I don't know if you can see that there. No, it's out of focus there. So you could just charge it that way, but see that micro USB input there? Just let's do USB-C from now on, guys. Across the board. I don't want any more of this micro stuff or that kind of stuff anymore. But all of those systems use it. The NES Classic, the SNES Classic, the Sega Genesis Classic, they all use that. And I just hate it. So that's my only gripe with it. That's how it's powered. Fine. Anyway, I'm a huge fan. I can't wait to play it a lot more. I barely scratched the surface of using it. Again, I just was playing Warsong and I was playing Quackshot. So I've got a lot more old Sega Genesis games to go through, and picked up some of the Sega Mega Drive. Again, you just pop the adapter in the top and it plays your games. Okay, moving along here. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. And yeah, here's the 8-bit Do box as well. The 8-bit Do wireless controller for the Sega, I keep calling it the Sega. It's the Mega SG. Of course, they can't call it that because of licensing. There's no way they could actually call it the Sega anything. They can't call it that. Okay, I got some tins. Do you guys like tins? I've always loved these at like old country stores and things like that. So I saw these and I had to get these. A couple of them classic games. One of my favorite games of all time, Metroid. I got a tin of that. So it's got the little holes here and you can put it up on the wall. So I've got it in my gaming room, sort of sat there. It's just the original cover, and I like how it has got sort of like vintage, like it's like rusted away a little bit down here. Super cool. So Metroid tin, really cool. Pick that up, and it's the original hang tab version. So it's got the password pack up here on the side. Anyway, really cool. And I got another one as well. This one from Mega Man, the 25th anniversary of Mega Man. Here you go, and look at all of the bad guys, all of the characters, from Cutman to, let's see, what else we got up there? All across the top, we got Iceman, Bomb Man, Fireman, all of them. It's like a rogues gallery going through and looking at that. So really cool. Mega Man 25th anniversary tin as well. Okay, let's do another game. Shall we do another game? Let's do it. Oh, I'm excited. We're gonna do, my son and I are gonna do a Wonder Boy weekend. I might in fact get my 10-year-old girl, Ava, involved in this as well. So doing a Wonder Boy weekend where we're going to play nothing but Wonder Boy. We're going to go through all of the collections. So I picked up 2 copies of this so that the kids could have one and I could have one in the gaming room. The Wonder Boy collection. And you can see here 4 different games in this collection. So it's got Wonder Boy. It's got Wonder Boy in Monsterland, Wonder Boy in Monster World, and Monster World 4. So are you guys Wonder Boy fans? So I haven't played this since I was a kid. And what's sad is I never actually owned a Wonder Boy game. I would play it at my friend's house. Well, a little bit, not even very much, but I loved it. And it's one of those games that just eluded me as a kid. And I just thought, I have been seeing so much about how, and when I see the gameplay, and I just like, this is totally up my alley. This is a game I want to devour. this would be a collection that would be super fun to go through with my kids. So we're going to go through the Wonder Boy collection. A Wonder Boy weekend will be coming up here. We're going to do a whole weekend deep dive and kind of talk about all the different games and play all of the different games here on the channel. We'll do a sort of a full like review and discussion about all of the Wonder Boy games. So I picked this up on the Switch, the Wonder Boy collection. Great pickup. Okay, we got that and Souldiers over here. I got some Amibos. Okay, I just completed Breath of the Wild for the very first time. Yes, about 2 months ago now. I have a video coming out, sort of my first reaction to just having finished it that night. I just need to get to editing that video to get that out, and I'll share that with you all. But boy, what an amazing sort of religious experience that game was. And I picked up, in honor of it, after I completed the game, I picked up 2. They just sort of published. I just saw them at my local store. They just got these in. I had to grab them. This is the Link Rider Amiibo. And I don't have many Amiibos. I don't want to be one of those guys that has 1,000 Amiibos. And hey, if you're one of those people, great. But that's just not my speed. And frankly, I am going to open these. I'm going to do a whole video on sealed game collecting and how I think about all of that. Growing up, I had my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of the case. I played with them all the time. I had them sat out. I have my Star Trek figures and other things up here behind me on this that are out of their cases that are sat there. So, and then here's my other Amiibo that I picked up, the Link Archer. This one I love. This is so cool. You know, you can tell like he's in the air and firing a guardian arrow there. Just gorgeous. So 2 Amiibos there, and then actually one more Amiibo I had to pick up. I had to pick this up. Okay, one of my favorite games of all time. The game that really got me fully back into gaming and kind of changed my life and kind of saved me in a lot of ways. I was in a real dark place. I have a full video on this coming out, but is Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread, and I got the Amiibos. I haven't opened them up yet. I'm going to, and I'm going to put them on my shelf in a nice arrangement. EMMIs. These are the things of my nightmares. These Emmys. Holy cow. Chasing me down, like finding the corridor where I could get enough space where I could actually unload on them, and then find another location where I could actually, fire and take out their head in another spot. I don't like being chased. And so these things were the stuff of nightmares, these Emmys. But I think it's such a cool collection for Metroid Dread here. Really beautiful, really gorgeous designs on that. Okay, moving along. Man, we're doing good here. Let's do, oh yes. Okay, guys, this really, when I opened this up, I'm not going to lie to you, I cried because this is something that my parents got me in the when I got my Nintendo for the very first time in the 1980s. Like my father passed away about 1.5 years ago now. So it's, just thinking about that time when my parents, didn't have a lot of money and they worked very hard, and they each worked a job, and I really wanted the Nintendo. So bad. My friend had one and I wanted one so bad. I was doing everything I could do, shoveling walkways and doing anything I could around the house, any odd jobs to raise money to buy my Nintendo. And then I ended up getting it. I actually ended up getting it as a gift. And the Nintendo that I got didn't have Super Mario Brothers in it. Didn't have Duck Hunt. Didn't have the Zapper. What it did have though, and so at the time I was disappointed, but then I wasn't. What it came with was the Nintendo official player's guide. How many of you remember the original Nintendo official player's guide? And oh my God. So I lost mine. I don't know where it is, where it went, but I finally managed to track one down. And it's in great condition, and I ordered it. And I got to tell you, this just brought me back instantly, because I would sit here for hours. I used to bring this to school. And when I had downtime, I would go through and study every picture and every little nugget, whether it's Commando or Super Mario Brothers, just every little detail about how to get through a map, or Legend of Zelda. I would spend so much time looking at Metroid and studying how to get through different areas of Metroid if I was stuck, or trying to figure out how to beat Rygar. like my white whale of a game, like looking at every character, all of the different maps, and it really kind of frustrated me because it would only show a certain few maps. So if, first few levels or something. So if you wanted to go further, you're like sort of out of luck. But boy, man, I loved this book. I used to sit and study the heck out of this thing. Just brought me back. So in the absence of getting Nintendo or Duck Hunt or any of those original games that I got with the NES, to get the official Nintendo Player's Guide and to be able to sit through this and read it again, to be able to share it with my kids so they can go through some of the stuff as well, like Zelda. I'm playing that for the first time. Really, really brought me back. Really exciting. And I guess I'd say the reason I got emotional about it is just thinking that my father not with me anymore, and just like work, just to see the joy in his kids, and the kids' faces just getting a big gift, and knowing how impactful that was. Like when he would bring home a special gift occasionally, when like the 1989 Batman movie was out of theaters, and I saw it 4 times in the theaters, and then finally they released it on VHS, and he just shows up that night with the brand new VHS copy of the movie. I just flipped out, and just like those sweet moments really, really mean the world to me. So just wanted to share that. Okay. Speaking of guides, let's do another strategy guide. So one of the journeys that we're going to go on here on the show is, of course, sharing some classic games with my son. We're going to play them from the very beginning together and go through these games together. And of course, one of those games is Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest. So here is the strategy guide. I managed to get my hands on one of the classic original Nintendo Power strategy guides for Dragon Warrior. And just super excited to be able to find this because I never had this strategy guide as a kid. I had to figure it out and plod through myself and try to figure out where everything was hidden and go through the game like that. And I loved strategy guides. I was never one of those people, gatekeepers about it. Like if you had a strategy guide, it helped you get along, great. And I'm all for it now. I still use strategy guides. Like if you're stuck and you need a little help, great. I knew people would call the 800 number for Nintendo sometimes to try to get answers for different things, right? Or I think even like Sega had a hotline or something to call. Anyway, so really excited to get my hands on an original Dragon Warrior strategy guide. We're going to use this when we go through Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior for the very first time to experience that game together. All right, next up is another game. I'm super excited to play this game. I haven't opened it yet. I will open it. It is Metaloid Origin. It's a 2D platformer, super fast-paced, where you get to play 1 out of 3 different android warriors known as predators. You go through about 9 different levels in order to save your planet. This robot army is attacking you from Lucian Corp, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So really excited to play Metaloid Origin from Red Art Games and 7 Raven Studios. How many of you have been playing this game? A little oddball. I've got Wonder Boy, I've got Souldiers. You can tell the kind of stuff that I like right now, but I need some of these palate cleanser games after playing some of these big sort of sweeping RPGs. I need something that I can get through in a few hours and just, I don't want to say mindlessly, but I don't need to do some big strategy games in between. I like to kind of mix it up. It's kind of how I read books too, is I'll read some big epic. I'll read Dune or something like that. And then I just need like a simple thriller, something in between. Or I'll read a big nonfiction history book, and then I kind of need a fun little thriller or something in between, like I need like a Jack Reacher novel or something like that in between to kind of have like a little bit of a palate cleanser. Okay, hey, speaking of Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest, I almost forgot about this. Really excited about this. This is an import. I imported this from Japan. This is a giant gaming mouse pad. I'm gonna hold it up here. You're not gonna see my face. That's okay. This is more attractive in my face. So this is a giant mouse pad of Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Warrior 1. And you can see the slimes, you can see the castles, you can see all of it. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm not using it as a mouse pad. In fact, I have it sort of sat up on my bookshelf above some of my in my gaming studio, in my gaming room area. And it sort of sat there. And I'm going to put some of my different Amibos on top of it, sort of like a map underneath. But I absolutely love this. My son saw it and he said, "What is that?" I explained, "Oh, buddy, this is Dragon Quest. Wait till you see this coming." So I had to get that. And by the way, the Japanese designer that I got it from was super nice, absolutely nice, making sure that my order was taken care of and really just letting me know like every step of the way, hey, it's on its way. We hope you really enjoy it. And sent me like a nice card inside of it as well. So I paid for it, I bought it and ordered it, but I just wanted to share. I absolutely love this Dragon Quest mouse pad. Okay, here we go. Let's do another game. Another one I'm excited to start playing. I haven't played it yet, but I just got it. That is the Curse of the Sea Rats. This, again, a real fun, hand-animated sort of Metroidvania adventure. Really excited to dig into this one. You embark on an epic journey to recover a mysterious relic and lift an ancient curse. You can play couch co-op, 2 to 4 players. You can really go through this beautifully drawn world, just gorgeous looking. I got it on the Switch. You can get it in other locations as well, from what I understand. This is really exciting. I can't wait to play the Curse of the Sea Rats. How many of you are playing this game? So I've got a few that I'm going to get through here. Sea Rats and Souldiers and Metaloid Origin and Wonder Boy Collection. Excited to get through some of that. Okay, one more game, but one more book before we wrap it up. This, oh my God. I spent like 3 days just sitting here pouring through this book. This is from Bitmap Books, Gameboy Box Art Collection. I bought this a few weeks ago. It just arrived, and oh my gosh, what an absolutely gorgeous book, going through all of the Japanese releases and North American releases of Game Boy games. Now, I was not a Japanese import guy growing up. Where I grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania, it was, what did we have locally? I ended up working at an electronics boutique in EB Games eventually, and it was, what did we have locally? What do we have in North America that I could get my hands on? But the Game Boy to me was just a game changer of a console, a handheld console system, and I would take it around and play it everywhere I could. So frustrated that how quickly the batteries would die on me, so always had to have a second set of batteries ready to go. And of course, rechargeable batteries at the time never really worked like they do today. But to be able to go through this book and see all of the like Batman and see the original like Bart Simpson games, and for me, not having access to a lot of the Japanese games, to be able to go through and read a lot of the different Japanese games and titles in here, and saying, man, I want to get my hands on some of these. Wow, some of these look amazing. So for me, going through and even finding the ones that I had as a kid and didn't, maybe somehow lost as well, or managed to disappear on me, like Battletoads and some other ones that just disappeared on me over time. Now I have a list together of ones that I want to go back and try to acquire. I want to go find these. I want to go try to buy these and add them back into my collection again. So I'm going to go on a collection hunt to bring some of these great games back to me again. Like Game Boy, like Ghostbusters 2, the Japanese version of it. Like, why didn't I was a huge Ghostbusters fan. Why didn't we have a Ghostbusters release in North America? Gauntlet 2, Gargoyle's Quest, and this is really an homage to the beautiful cover art for a lot of these Game Boy covers, and how a lot of the beautiful artwork here that you didn't get in some of the other releases. So they really talk a lot about the designers, the artists who did this wonderful box art, Dragon's Lair, and just so much great stuff in here that I could sit here and go through this again for hours. The Aladdin box art, just gorgeous. And a lot of this beautiful anime, beautiful Japanese cover art as well that I never got to see growing up because I was in North America, so I didn't get to see that stuff. I just didn't have a plugged-in Japanese, vibrant collecting community like we do today. So from Bitmap Books, you can check them out, bitmapbooks.com, the box art collection. I had to buy this. Okay, we're down to the final one here, and here it is. Miles and I, we completed Fire Emblem Engage, and we had to get our hands on, yes, the special edition Fire Emblem Engage box set. So here it is. Let's open it up. I want to show you inside what this is. And I'm going to have a whole video coming out where my thoughts on like sealed game collecting and on holding these different things. But I want to enjoy these. I want to see the artwork. I want to see the poster. I want to touch the cards. I want to look at these things. So, of course, it has the steel book inside, the gorgeous artwork here from the front. You can see all the art cards collection that is in here as well. It also has the Art of Fire Emblem, the art book, really gorgeous art book, and going through and see all the different character design in here. And then, of course, it has the big A1 size poster as well inside, the special edition for Fire Emblem Engage, the Divine Edition. And what a game this was. I didn't want it to end. I was on chapter 25 for the longest time, and I just kept doing skirmishes because I just didn't want it to end, and little side quests and paralogs, and I just kept going. So, yeah, we both finished that game. We finished Fire Emblem Engage, and what a game. What a game. So great. So great. So now it makes me want to go back and play some of the earlier, Game Boy or 3DS games, and some other classic Fire Emblem games going way back as well. So there you go. That is the Fire Emblem Engage Divine Edition. Just had to show that off. And so great to be able to have completed that game and have that special edition as well. All right, guys. Wow. That is a lot of stuff. So let me know in the comments below anything that you saw here today that piqued your fancy, that you're interested in picking up, or what's something that you guys have been excited to buy lately, or a special edition that you picked up that you're excited to share. I can't wait to read about it in the comments below. And until next time, everyone, thank you, friends, for joining us here on Our Joy of Gaming. Check out some of the other videos we have on the channel, and we will see you next time, everyone.